Good afternoon, friends. Today we are going to provide you update on recent circular number 129, dated 24th December 2019, and this circular is being issued as a standard operating procedure SOP for non-filer of return in GST regime. This circular is being issued under section 168 subsection 1, and this circular is being issued with an objective of providing uniformity as the divergent practice is being followed at the field level for the non-filer of return under section 39, which is GSTR 3B, in terms of Rule 61 sub Rule 5 with the retrospective amendment. Now GSTR 3 is being stated as GSTR 3B under section 39, or annual return GSTR 9 and 9C under section 44, or final return under section 45, meaning thereby those who are not filing the return under section 39 GSTR 3B, under section 44, which is annual return or reconciliation statement 9 and 9C, or final return under section 45. Now the SOP is being created to provide uniformity at the field level, and this SOP is being issued by circular number 129, which I am going to discuss today. What this SOP says? This SOP says that department going to intimate as a reminder mail that taxpayer has to file return by 20th of next month. You can take an example. Let's say we are talking about January 2020 as a tax period, monthly return. In this case, department going to send a mail to a taxpayer on 17th of February, reminding him to file his return under section 39 by 20th February 2020. Then, in case you have filed the return, no problem. But if you have not filed the return, then what happened? You will get a defaulter email as if you have defaulted not filing your return as stated under section 39 within 5 days from the due date, which was 20th February. So meaning thereby that you will get a mail stating that you defaulted not filing your GSTR 3B for a particular tax period, which is stated in our example January 2020 within 5 days. Then what happened? After 5 days, means after 25th of February 2020, department is going to initiate notice in terms of, in the form GSTR 3A, GSTR 3A under section 46. Now this notice would be sent to such defaulter who has not filed the return in spite of initial reminder, and then the email is being issued to them that you defaulted within 5 days. So this notice GSTR 3A going to such non-filer of return, then this SOP continues and say that within 15 days as stated under section 46, you can file your return under section 39. If you have filed the return within 15 days, on issuance of GSTR 3A, then matter resolved. If you have not filed the return within 15 days as stated from issuance of GSTR 3A, then what happened? Department can initiate best judgment assessment for non-filer of return under section 62. Now what is this base judgment assessment? In case you have not filed the return under section 39, as I said, or 44 or 45, as we are saying, a base judgment order can be passed by a proper officer on the basis of his best judgment on the data he has gathered or he got the information. And what could be the data he has gathered or the information? Maybe the proper officer would be having your outward supplies details which you have filed in GSTR 1 under section 37, or he can get the data from GSTR 2A, or he can get the data from your eBay bill portal, or he may have initiated some inspection, search and seizure. From that particular source he can gather the data, and on the basis of his best judgment he can issue assessment order, base judgment assessment order in form ASMT 13, ASMT 13 under section 62. Now having said that, what this SOP further says that within 30 days from the issuance of best judgment order, you can file your return and pay the liability. In case you file your return, then what happened? This ASMT 13 issued shall be deemed as withdrawn. But you are liable to pay interest under section 50 subsection 1 for your tax liability and late fees as applicable, penalty as applicable. But what happened in case you have not filed the return after the issuance of best judgment assessment order under section 62 within 30 days? In that scenario, this circular talks about as a standard operating procedure that the officer may initiate recovery proceedings under section 78, 79, and further it continue to say that even provisional attachment of your movable or immovable property under section 83 of CGST Act. This is the SOP which is being issued to provide uniformity for the field formation for divergent practice followed to assess non-filer of return in GST regime, and non-filer pertaining to section 39 which is 3B, section 44 which is 9 and 9C, section 45 which is final return. Now my conclusion, I got one legal point, and I'm of the view, this is my personal view, that this circular is ultra vires the way SOP is being created. Meaning thereby, what is the time period when best judgment assessment order can be issued? If you go to section 62 of CGST Act, which I want to read all along with you and request, which you can see on screen, is a provision for the base judgment assessment order under section 62. Can you read with me, and then I will explain to you what is the contradictory hype is being created in the market. If you don't file return, then your movable and immovable property going to be attached under section 83. First read the section 62. It says, notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained under section 73, which is the so cause notice can be issued under section 73 for non-fraud cases, or section 74 where so cause notice can be issued for fraud cases, where a registered person fails to furnish the return under section 39, which is GSTR 3B, or section 45, which is final return, even after service of notice, which is GSTR 3A under section 46, proper officer may proceed to assess the tax liability of said person to the best of his judgment, taking into account all the relevant material which is available or which he has gathered, and issue an assessment order. I'm underlining these words. Issue an assessment order within a period of 5 years. Within a period of 5 years from the date specified under section 44, which is the annual return I'm referring to, for furnishing of the annual return for the financial year to which tax not paid relates, meaning thereby. I've taken an example of January 2020, and if you are a taxpayer and you have not filed the return within 15 days after issuance of notice in GSTR 3A, and this GSTR 3A got issued under section 46, then proper officer may initiate best judgment assessment order under section 62. As per the SOP created, or this circular is talking about, it is hinting as if base judgment order can be passed immediately after 30 days when this order is being issued. So for January 2020, you got first initial reminder that you have to file your GSTR 3B by 20th February. If you have not filed then within 5 days, then what happened? You are going to get a message that you are defaulted with. Then after 25th February, department going to issue GSTR 3A under section 46. You get 15 days time period to adhere to file your return. In case you don't do, then what happened? Base judgment under section 62. So I'm saying whether this base judgment assessment order can be issued after 30 days from this order is being made. My view is that this base judgment order can be issued only after 31st December 2020, which is the date specified under section 44. So what happened? Proper officer is competent and they can issue this base judgment assessment order within a period of 5 years, but that from a date specified under section 44. So such order can be issued only after 31st December 2020, and once this order is being issued, then the 30 days calculation, you need to furnish your return. So there's the one myth going in a market I want to clarify, as if it is being projected, and I've seen in print media everywhere, that if you are not filing the return after issuance of GSTR 3A, best judgment order can be passed, and if you are not filing your return within 30 days after issuance of best judgment order, immediately your property, movable or immovable, can be attached. My view is that base judgment order cannot be passed as immediate as we are talking about in SOP. That can be passed only after 31st December 2020. And my tax period, which I have considered January 2020, pertaining to financial year 2019-20. Hence, once this base judgment order is being passed as per the law, then only this 30 days criteria will start working for furnishing the return. Why I am saying this fact? Because this SOP and circular has created havoc in the market, that if you don't file immediately after the base judgment order, then there would be recovery proceedings under section 78, 79 and 83 provisional attachment. Now let me draw some conclusion. Yes, we all know there are defaulters who are not filing their return on timely basis. But at the same time, we have to really understand these parameters. When this SOP says that initial reminder it will go to whom? Taxpayer or the tax consultant. We have seen in many cases, tax consultant has provided their email ID. So might be this reminder going to the tax consultant, not to the taxpayer. We have to consider all these parameters. What happened if he's being defaulted? He has not filed the return within 5 days from the due date 28th, which we have discussed in our case 20th February, but it must go to the right person. Then only we can say this SOP says that this is going to given to the proprietor, authorized signatory, and which those who are director or managing partner or karta. My only humble submission, we have seen in GST many system glitches happening. Things are not being delivered when we talk about automation. First, we have to create an infrastructure system where delivery of notice is properly being given to the recipient for his action to be taken as per the law. This needs to be first strengthened. Second, the message I'm not giving any side to the defaulter, but I'm reading the SOP and giving my conclusion on circular. The circular is talking about base judgment order, but base judgment order cannot be issued as immediate as we are talking about. It is going to be issued only within a period of 5 years, and that too after 31st December 2020. If we talk about tax period relates to financial year 2019-20. And let me conclude this video saying that we are reading the legal interpretation. Reading the legal interpretation does not mean that we are advocating the defaulter. We want this percentage. There should be compliant taxpayer. At the same time, there will be compliant tax officer. They should not take this circular in a hurry and start issuing, as we are finding many cancellation happening. And this circular further says that under section 29 subsection 2, even the cancellation proceedings may be initiated by the proper officer for non-filing of return. We have to really understand and create a level playing field for both tax department and taxpayer to come forward. There are many taxpayers, they are not convenient, they are not comfortable how to go ahead and tax liabilities on an accrual basis. Sometimes they delay the process of filing the return for the want of financial, for the working capital. We need to understand many parameters in GST, but as the circular 129 SOP issued and the contention of base judgment assessment order, I'm finding little contrary as per the law. This is my personal view, but we all are looking for GST to be good and simple tax. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.